Have you ever felt a subtle unease as you prepare to sleep? Perhaps you lie in bed, whispering your prayers, your voice quiet, but your heart restless, sensing something almost imperceptible. Something seems to linger in the shadows, a tension you cannot name. You recite familiar words, yet peace seems to drift farther away. The night grows silent, but your spirit senses more than the darkness of the room. It senses the unseen. Tonight, we are going to uncover a truth that few speak aloud, a truth that Saint Faustina revealed, not in words written for spectacle, but in wisdom that speaks directly to the soul. What happens when we fall asleep while praying, and the hidden dangers that can accompany even the most innocent intentions. This is not about fear. This is not about judgment. It is about awareness, about seeing clearly what is often invisible, and about reclaiming the full power of your prayers. Imagine your words, your intentions, even your thoughts as keys. Each key can open doors to divine grace, peace, and guidance, or, if left unchecked, to influences that weaken, distract, or confuse the spirit. Before we dive deeper into these hidden truths, I want to invite you to take a simple, important step. Subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you join a community committed to spiritual growth, understanding, and transformation. You will receive guidance on how to pray with power, presence, and mindfulness. Click subscribe now and activate the bell so that no message that could strengthen your soul ever goes unnoticed. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you can. Picture the space between you and God, a space that is sacred, free from distraction. For some, the act of falling asleep in prayer seems simple, routine even. But in reality, it is a profoundly delicate moment, one in which the spiritual realm responds in ways we rarely notice. Every distraction, every wandering thought, and every incomplete intention can open cracks through which unseen forces can quietly enter. One of the first hidden dangers is praying without full attention. Many people, even those with the purest intentions, recite words mechanically, their mind elsewhere. Perhaps you are thinking about the next day, worries about work, or unresolved tension from the past. In those moments, your words may reach the surface, but the heart is elsewhere. This lack of presence leaves openings, subtle yet real, for influences that disrupt peace, focus, and spiritual clarity. Another danger lies in praying without full surrender. Some pray out of routine or habit, others out of duty or expectation, but true prayer requires complete faith and full trust in the divine. When faith is partial, incomplete, or distracted, small fissures appear in your spiritual defenses. The enemy does not need an invitation. These cracks are enough for interference. Yet here is the hopeful truth. Awareness itself is the first step toward protection. Recognizing these subtle openings allows us to seal them, to fortify our spiritual lives, and to invite divine light to replace distraction, fear, or unseen interference. As we continue, I will guide you to understand the hidden truths behind falling asleep in prayer, the ways they may manifest in everyday life, and the practical spiritual steps you can take to ensure that your prayers always nurture, protect, and empower your soul. Now ask yourself, are you ready to look honestly at your spiritual life and your habits of prayer, to recognize patterns that may have gone unnoticed for years? Because only by facing these truths can you open the door to deep, powerful, transformative connection with the divine. Now that we have awakened your awareness to the possibility that subtle openings can appear in your prayers, it is time to examine the most common mistakes that occur when we pray before sleep. These errors are rarely intentional. They often arise from habit, routine, or misunderstanding of what true prayer requires. Yet their effects can be profound, and the spiritual consequences can be significant. One of the most frequent issues is distraction. You may recite your prayers, but your mind is elsewhere, thinking about the day, your worries, your responsibilities, or unresolved conflicts. When your attention is fragmented, your words become hollow. Imagine the difference between speaking to a loved one with full presence versus speaking while thinking about something else. The connection weakens. In prayer, this distraction opens a subtle door, a crack through which negative influence can enter. Many people pray out of habit, repeating words or formulas learned long ago without truly engaging the heart. The mind becomes a recorder rather than a participant. This mechanical repetition diminishes the power of the prayer. God does not measure the quantity of words. The value lies in the quality of the connection. A routine prayer can inadvertently create spiritual vulnerability, allowing unseen forces to exploit the absence of intention and focus. Another subtle trap is praying solely to receive something, protection, a solution to a problem, or a blessing. While there is nothing wrong with asking, prayer should not be a transaction or a wish list. When we pray with only our own desires in mind, we risk blocking the flow of divine grace. The act of prayer becomes one-sided, and the spirit becomes exposed to confusion, frustration, or even fear. Imagine praying to someone you deeply love, only asking for favors without sharing your heart or listening. Over time, the relationship weakens. Prayer functions the same way. It must be a dialogue, not a demand, a surrender, not a checklist. Prayer is not a single act. It is a discipline, a habit of connecting with the divine regularly. Many begin with fervor, only to abandon it for days, weeks, or longer. This inconsistency weakens spiritual defenses. Like a river that dries up without flow, your spiritual strength diminishes, leaving room for negative influences. Regular, persistent prayer strengthens the soul and seals the openings that negligence creates. During prayer, our emotions are powerful indicators. Fear, anxiety, doubt, or resentment may arise, sometimes spontaneously. Ignoring these emotions or dismissing them allows them to influence our spiritual state. Recognizing and surrendering them in prayer, instead of pushing them aside, closes subtle doors to negativity and brings clarity and peace. Some prayers focus only on asking, forgetting to give thanks. Gratitude is a protective shield, a channel that directs divine energy and closes openings to disturbance. Balanced prayer, combining petitions with thankfulness, creates a harmonious spiritual flow, safeguarding the soul and amplifying the effect of your intentions. By understanding these mistakes, we begin the process of reclaiming the full power of our prayers. Awareness alone is transformative. Recognizing the ways we may unintentionally weaken our spiritual connection is the first step toward prayer that truly empowers, protects, and heals. In the next segment, we will explore practical spiritual strategies to close these doors, to pray with full presence and protection, and to transform the act of falling asleep in prayer into a moment of sacred strength and divine connection. Before we move forward, reflect on this question. Which of these mistakes do you recognize in yourself? Which has silently influenced your nights without your awareness? Awareness is the key. It is the spark that allows transformation to begin. Now that we have explored the common mistakes that can open doors when we pray before sleep, it is time to learn how to close those doors and protect your spirit, turning prayer into a source of strength, peace, and divine connection. Recognizing the errors is only the first step. Action and intention are essential. Every time you approach God, do so with your full attention. Do not recite words mechanically. Before you begin, take a moment to center yourself. Close your eyes and take 3 deep, intentional breaths. Express gratitude for this moment and the opportunity to speak with the divine. Share your needs, fears, and hopes sincerely, without rush or distraction. Sit in silent listening. Prayer is not only speaking, it is also receiving. Mindful prayer strengthens the soul and seals subtle cracks that distraction can create. Prayer without genuine faith is incomplete. True prayer requires full trust in God and complete surrender. Thy will, not mine, be done. This surrender closes openings through which negative forces might act, and it opens doors to peace, clarity, and spiritual protection. Avoid praying solely to ask for favors. Combine your petitions with gratitude. Thank God, not only for what you have received, but also for the unseen blessings, challenges, and trials that strengthen your soul. Balanced prayer creates spiritual harmony, shielding the spirit from confusion, doubt, and fear. Prayer is most effective when it is consistent. Establish a regular time for nightly prayer, even if only for a few minutes. Discipline and consistency strengthen the soul and close the openings that inconsistency may create. During prayer, pay attention to thoughts and emotions that arise. Some may not originate from you or from God. Fear, anxiety, and sudden doubts may indicate subtle openings that need attention. Recognize them, surrender them to God, and continue praying with a strong, focused heart. Conclude your prayer with words of protection. Ask God and the angels to seal every door that could be used by negative influences. Visualize a radiant shield surrounding your mind, heart, and spirit. This act strengthens your defenses and ensures your prayers reach their intended destination. Falling asleep after prayer is not a passive act, it is a sacred moment. As you drift into rest, carry with you awareness, surrender, gratitude, and faith. Let your last thoughts and intentions be prayers themselves, carrying spiritual power into the night. Remember, prayer is not passive. It is an active, living connection with God. Every word, intention, and act of surrender strengthens your soul and closes doors to negative influences. Finally, reflect on this. Prayer is your armor, your refuge, and your path to inner peace. It deserves your attention, care, and devotion. Protect it, nurture it, and approach it with mindfulness. If this message has touched your heart, and you wish to continue deepening your spiritual life and learning how to pray with clarity, strength, and divine protection, subscribe to this channel now. Activate the bell so that you never miss a message that can transform your connection with God and help you walk in peace, power, and faith every single day.